And the rest of, oh, thank you. And we, as we're stepping into the realms of rest tonight, we are only taking the first step, and our journey is not only on the earth, it is in heaven at the same time. So I just want you to keep that in mind as we speak, as we go ahead. And I want everybody to feel free to share whatever you see, whatever is on your mind, because everybody is valued in this group. Everybody's, whatever you see, if it's a color, if it's a feeling, if it's a smell, please share it with our group. That makes the journey so much fuller and so much real for other people in the group. So I would love to ask Robert tonight to please just head us in and pray us in if you're comfortable doing that, Robert.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, God. We just come in agreement with who you are. We come into agreement with what you've done. Come in agreement with your blood. Come in agreement with your ability to ascend through us, God. We come into your ability. We come into agreement that we would come to rejoice in you. That we would come to. So God, as we come into that agreement, we just believe that you will lead us and direct us, God. You will guide us by your hand, and that you will do the work, God, that we step into you. We allow you to rest in us. We allow you to believe through us. We allow you to ascend through us, God. And God, we just partner with you. And God, we just step in. We step into you. We step into your reality. We step into what you have for us in the heavenly realms. And we do it. 1, 2, 3. God, thank you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Robert. And Father, I just want to lie down everything that's happened through the week, through the weekend, even through the day. Lord Jesus, I just put it at your feet, give it all to you. I put all my focus.
Sinette, I can't hear a word you're saying.
I'm sorry, am I too soft here? I'm going to try. Is that better? I think my mic was just a little bit far from my mouth.
That's wonderful.
Okay, sorry about that. So I just ask us all to put everything onto the cross today, every moment that you had this week, today, and just be focusing on what we do here, right here and now. And all distractions aside, and we can just zoom in on what we do here, what God wants to reveal to us, what Jesus wants to lead us into, and be very sensitive to Holy Spirit. I'm going to open the floor for anybody that sees something.
So that even before we prayed, I was seeing like a very restful area, like a little meadow with a stream in it and a small waterfall, some
beautiful
bright lights, very pretty.
Very nice. I can hear that stream though. I can hear like just that gentle flow of the water. Very calming.
I see these clouds above that they're kind of gently swirling amongst themselves, and the ray of the sunlight is coming through, but it's producing like a blue light coming through them.
Wow.
Which we use blue light a lot of times to transport in. So maybe that's,
Mm.
I'm just saying, maybe.
That's really good. Thanks, Bucky.
I saw a diamond, fairly large diamond, that was in front of us, and I immediately recognized that if light passed through it, that we would see rainbow colors, that we would see a spectrum of colors as light would pass through it. And as I was sitting there expecting to do that, God said, "You're the light.
Oh, wow.
You're the light. Let it go through." And as I did, it was like I stepped in, but also I was looking through, and I realized I started to see through this like spectrum, like I was bringing forth a spectrum, but I was also stepping into the promises. I was stepping into that rainbow reality, and it was like as I looked through and I stepped through, I was seeing promises. I was seeing visions. I was seeing prophetic vision for my life and other people's lives, and I felt like that we were getting an opportunity to have a glimpse into the prophetic vision that God has for us, and to really be able to focus on promises, and focus on His destiny, His plan, and to see it in a very clear and more enhanced way. To see it like it strengthens our reality of promises, strengthens our reality of hope over our lives. But that's what I was seeing. And I felt like as we even were stepping into it, like we were being transported into a different realm of hope and dreams and visions in our lives.
Wow. Thank you, Robert. Do you want to lead us all maybe to step into that, into the diamond? Is that right?
Sure, if everybody's in agreement.
How do you guys feel? You okay with that?
Yep. Anybody else?
Oh,
Robert,
Okay.
please tell us again. So you said you saw a diamond and we were the light shining through the diamond, or what?
Yes.
Yes. And I felt like as we were able to look through and we were able to see, but then I felt like we were actually stepping into it and being transported into the reality of that. Like as light would pass through a diamond, it creates that rainbow effect, that spectrum of light. And I felt like as we did that, we saw the spectrum of light of our own life, and we saw the rainbow, we saw the promises, and we saw the fulfillment. And even today, like earlier today, I shared, and this is just, I feel like I need to share this. Earlier today, I shared about how I woke up just struggling to really believe and trust God through so many traumas and stuff. And then God really broke through today. And I felt like God said, "Go into the heavenly realms, grab what I have for you, and by force, push it into the earthly realm." And this is, I feel like this is in line with that. Like
Ooh, I
when we
like
step
that.
into this, so we're pushing forth our promises. We're pushing forth the best that God has. But we're even saying God, if it disturbs my world, I'm willing, because I want you. I want what you have, and I don't know, I just felt that strongly. So,
Wow.
so if you guys are still in agreement, I will
Yes.
kind of lead us in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. God, by faith, we recognize that you have transfigured us into light. God, we step into this diamond. God, we peer into it. We look and we see your hope. We see your visions. We see your promises. We see your reality. We see your dreams that you have for us. We can sense the frequency, the vibration, the frequency of light that declares that you're for us. You're not against us, God. And God, as we are peering into this, God, we just get pulled into it, God. God, we just step into this reality. And God, we just allow you to transport us into the reality of your hope. You transport us into the reality of your dreams, of your promises, of your character, of your love, God. And God, we just grab a hold of what's in the heavenly realms that you have for us, our destiny, not what we think or what we've been used to, but we grab a hold of the fresh reality, and we release it through this diamond. We push it forth through this diamond. God, we don't just push it forth, we go into it. We go into it full, with 100% all that we are and all that you have, God. And God, as we jump into it, God, it's like going into that place of rest. God, it's like getting on a river, like a raging river that has so much power that all we have to do, we don't have to strive and swim in that river. We just float on that river, and that river takes us, God. And let us rest in that life, that river of your hope, that river of your dreams and visions and plans for us, God. God, just turn the light on so that we can see your promises and see your goodness. Strengthen us. Encourage us. Let us become the promise of God. Let us become the promise of God.
Thank you, Father.
Let us come in union. And let us come into reality of what you have for us tonight, today, in our lives. And we thank you in advance for the surge of power that I'm feeling. Thank you for the confidence that you're doing, the identity, the healing, the wholeness, deep satisfaction of what you're doing, God. And we thank you for being a good, good God. Thank you.
Good God. Thank you.
As soon as you started praying, Robert, I saw this gate that is about waist high, and so it kind of opened up. As I touched it, it just opened, and so when I stepped through, I could see off to my left. It looked like, I don't know if it was the right front quadrant or the left rear quadrant. I couldn't tell which way it was facing, but it looked like a golden pumpkin chariot, like it's kind of like Cinderella's. But that wasn't the part that really intrigued me the most, because I just kind of walked around it to see what was behind it, and it looked like the whole sky was just full of the inside workings of a clock, like a wristwatch, actually. You know, like you ever opened up the back of a watch and looked at the little, the little gears and stuff going tick, 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 tick back and forth.
Yeah.
And I could see that the whole sky was that. It was golden colored as well, but off to the right was just black sky, or dark sky, and then the watch and the what appeared to be like part of a chariot of gold.
Wow.
So that's all I saw.
That's amazing.
Good. That's amazing.
Chariot of gold.
I love that.
Were there like any horses attached to it, or was it just like, sitting there?
Say that again.
Were there animals attached to it to pull it, or do you think it's like a wheels within wheels thing?
I don't know yet. All I could see was, like I said, was like, if you're looking at a car and you split it up on the four sides.
Yeah.
I thought at first it was the right front quadrant, but because it had a small wheel in front. The little arm comes down and the wheel kind of. But the more I thought about it, well, I didn't see any animals in the front or any bench for the driver. Nothing like that. So I thought, well, maybe it's the rear quadrant on the other side,
Yeah.
So
Wow.
but we can look at it if you want.
Just as you were talking about I don't know, the clock thing earlier, Bucky. I just, as you said that, I just saw all these rainbow scarves down from above. I I can't see the top. And we are pulling each on a different color scarf. I can't see who's on what color. And we just like pulling and bouncing. And as we pull and bounce, it's like these bells ringing. I have no idea how it fits into the picture, but that's exactly as you spoke about that. That was the picture that came up.
Wow.
So that's interesting.
Don't feel at all that the clock is like tininess in any way. I don't feel like it's like we're racing against time or where it's time to do anything. I felt like it was just, I really don't know what it was about yet. So.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
I feel like something with the clock or the time. I feel like there's like almost like God's declaring that He's engaging over our time. He's engaging over our, any mistakes we've ever made, and He's saying, "I'm not limited to time. I can go back into time and I can rearrange things so that they will bless you, so they will benefit you." And I just feel like broken dreams, crushed visions, mistakes of the past, lost time, things that, like even like being married and feeling like I lost all those years. And God is saying, yeah, time's not working against you, it's working for you. And it's like He's bringing an adjustment. He's bringing, and then as they saw the scarves and they heard the bells, it seemed like it was like almost wedding bells, like it was chimes of relationship and excitement and joy and celebration over our lives. Like God is changing the whole atmosphere of how we're looking at the things in our lives. And it's like He's saying it's not too late. The hope is not over. I'm for you. I'm for you.
Redeeming the time. I agree.
So good. So good.
Robert. It's really encouraging, and that's what I like about that. What you're saying, man, it's uplifting. It's not being dogmatic. It's actually moving us, it's propelling us forward. A positive attitude. That's the heart of the Father.
Really good.
I'm not sure where this fits in because I saw this picture and all before Robert started sharing. And when we first got there, I saw this humongous opening. Have you seen water when they do that hole in the water and it's swirling? It was like that, but it was upward towards heaven. And in the opening was a lightning bolt coming down we were in kind of a darker place on this side. And it was the lightning bolt was coming down, but on the upside of that circle, opening was white, beautiful white light, just like a beautiful, beautiful day that you always want to have. And it did have white clouds and it did have blue sky. And I felt like I was seeing it from the peering of looking into that part, looking into the light. I don't know if that makes any sense now or if it's going to make any sense later to people. Even me, I don't even really know what it means.
I'm just going to go with what I see. Bucky even said he saw like a dark cloud. And, we sometimes in heaven experience this reality of the Father where we have to step into a dark cloud, where it's actually a place that it can seem a little frightening at first. It seem a little scary. It takes faith to we trust that, his character, his goodness, and even like in our promises, sometimes there's some things in life that we're like, God, all I can do is just trust your character. I can just trust you. I need to trust you when it's hard. And I feel as we step into this place of the dark cloud, as soon as we step into that place of light that Linda's talking about. We step into this place that is so secure. We step into this place that is so full of hope and love, but it's also so protected. It's so guarded that the enemy would dare not get close to that dark cloud, that it would dare not get close to that reality of what God is doing, or what it's a place where we go into a secret place. We go into a chamber of his heart. We go into a place of intimacy and love. And there, I just sense there's just such a reality that all the promises are yes and amen. All the goodness of God is there, and we're just, it's like it's waves of goodness being reinforced in us. It's strengthening, and it's encouraging, and it's overwhelming almost that I'm sensing. But this is what I was seeing.
I agree, Robert. We should go in.
Amen. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
I
And
feel
God,
this really, sorry, I just feel this really strong presence. And I just want us to just stay here for a second, maybe another 30 seconds or so. Just soak up what's here right now. And then you can lead us in. Thank you, Robert.
I'm
Sorry,
also
Snake.
just, go ahead. I'm sorry, Peter.
Oh, yeah, I got distracted by life over here for a few minutes. So I know we saw the diamond and with the light, and then I know Bucky saw like a sky with some parts to a watch or something, and a golden chariot or something. So where are we right now is my question.
Okay, so we moved on. We were hanging on scarves that was connected to bells that looked like rainbow colors. And we had from Linda a lightning bolt coming out of a light opening in the sky. And then Robert, he said a lot of stuff which I can't repeat half of it because I might mess that up. So maybe you can explain that to us, Robert, and then we can move in.
Oh yeah, I heard Robert's part. I sent him a message about it.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where we're at now with Robert. And yeah, I just felt like we just stay here for a little bit and just really feel the presence and just soak it up, because there is so much here, right here, not I just don't want us to miss what we have right here at the moment.
I agree. I agree.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm also sensing, going back to the chariot that looks like a pumpkin, that was gold. And I don't know why, I just get this sense, and, if I'm wrong, you guys just entertain this, but I'm just sensing that reality of Cinderella. I'm just sensing, sometimes these silly stories that we might see, there's the kingdom inside of those stories. There's the reality of God's heart in those stories. And even in Cinderella, there's that reality of God's heart in his kingdom. And it resonates with people, that reality of that kingdom inside of them. And I feel like even that we're in this area of promise, I feel like God is saying, and this may be for men too, but I really feel like strong for the women, is that the places where you haven't really felt like the princess, you haven't felt that reality that you're a daughter of the king, that you really haven't experienced that realm of hope, that realm of like you will meet your Jesus, your Prince Charming. There's this reality. God's restoring that hope. He's restoring that dream. He's restoring that um, that God-given thing that he put in the heart that sometimes we've stifled because we said, oh, that's just a child's story. That's just a child's dream. And I feel like God is saying, no, that's part of the kingdom. That's part of his reality. And I feel like he's just breathing over our reality, breathing over our dreams, breathing over these areas. And I just by faith just step in to bring that reality. I just by faith step into that pumpkin, that chariot, to bring forth the glory, bring forth the dreams, bring forth the honor to the women here, bring forth the resurrection of broken and destroyed and crushed dreams, to bring forth that reality, that reality of declaring that the reality of a princess is over them, the reality of honor, the reality of royalty, the reality of that relationship with Jesus that would be restored, of intimacy and deep, deep love, and that sense of being protected, and that sense of the huppah covering. God, I just declare that those things would be resurrected and revived in the women and the men too. God, I just declare that those dreams would be revived, that reality of promise would come forth. And we just thank you for that, God. Thank you, Jesus.
What I saw when we first stepped in, I was kind of waiting for a moment to say it. And as many times as I've stepped in, this has never happened until tonight. So when I stepped in, I was, ready to like go somewhere or whatever, but I ran slap into someone's chest. Like I didn't hit the chest, but I stopped myself short. Like I was 6 inches from like completely running into someone at the chest level, like my face into their chest. And, I caught it. You know how I could tell, no, I can't take another step because I'm going to bump into them. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how it was.
Yes.
Thanks. As you said that, I remembered that I felt that presence earlier, and that's why I just wanted us to stay, because I felt there is somebody with us, but I'm not sure who. But as Anne said, chest level, smack bang, almost face, plant yourself in his chest. I just really felt like we have to explore this and just, I have a sense who it is, but I'm not 100% sure. So would love to open the floor. And if you guys can just explore that, who do you think is right here?
I don't know who it is, but I'm just seeing flowers given, like bouquets of flowers, like roses and beautiful flowers are being given to each person. I just see this demonstration of love, and almost even a romantic love that's being just released over people right now. Thank you, God.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Whatever sense you get, just a smell, a word, anything, please share it with us.
So I was reminded of the prodigal son being embraced by the father when he came back.
Mhm. That's beautiful. Thank you. Mm.
I sense that from all that has been said, that it was like an invitation for us, and so I'm sensing it as I'm feeling the invitation of, step into your original purpose and intent and design that I have for you. So it's a very sweet, very calm, very slow progression. So I appreciate that we're staying here.
That's good. Thank you.
It feels like a dance too. It feels like it's a dance. It feels
so
like
good.
it's a slow, but then, it may get more intense, but it just feels like it's take my hand and trust me. Trust.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I see me stepping out of that dark area, and the hole is very big. I mean, it might be as big as a house. I can't tell. But as you were saying that, and we've all said what we've said, I extended my hand, but he was also extending his hand, but I couldn't even see that until I extended mine. So I'm accepting and stepping into, and I'm also changing. My dimensions have changed in me. I'm dressed in white. Birds are now floating around. So there's a lot that's happening that I see. Thank you.
That's so good. How are you going, Jill?
I'm experiencing a a weighty presence,
Mm.
and I was just really enjoying that, the lingering in it, and listening to Robert speak about the realities of our Father and really our realities. They're really there for us. So I was just considering and pondering all of that in his presence.
So good. Thank you.
I don't know, but it seems like I'm sensing the royalty.
Yes. That's very good. And what are you up to there?
I'm just enjoying this place too. I don't really have anything else really to add to it. I'm just don't really feel like leaving this place.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm sure I'm sure we'll move on, but
Yeah. That's good. As I stand here, I kind of got into the chariot, the golden chariot, and as I stepped literally up the steps, and my first step into the chariot, I think Robert was talking about, especially to the ladies on the group, and just stepping into what God has for us as women. And as I took that first step, it was like the gold of the chariot just clothed me, and it wasn't like a dress, a ballroom dress or something like that. It was just, excuse me, almost changing my skin into gold. So it was almost like I tapped into the source, the chariot. This, I can't explain it quite, but yeah, that was. And since then, I've been really just a little bit absent-minded, can't focus kind of feeling. So it was quite overwhelming, the presence and just being a part of whatever is happening here, because I'm not too sure exactly what it is. But I do feel like we are tapping into something very unique, very special, very unique to each and every one of us, on a different level.
Jeanette, as I watched you step into the chariot, I literally saw you step into a second realm. You were standing beside me, watching yourself step in. And so you were looking back down at us from that. And it was like,
Wow.
It was almost like you were having this, kind of this moment of like, hey, I just split into multiple dimensions.
That's so cool. Always wanted to do that.
Amen.
That's
Amen.
probably why I felt like I was a bit disorientated, because I couldn't focus. It was like, whoa, this is a little bit weird. That's so cool. Thank you, Bucky.
I'm wondering, I started to see, like I'm looking out little windows, like you had your head almost attached to the mirror or the glass to look out. And it was like I was looking through where God is going to bring me through to the dimensions that I was going to. I've seen this before one other time, and it was above the earth. But anyway, this looks like I'm looking through a carriage. So it must be I must be in the place you're talking about. And I'm looking through, it's about the size of my face, So I'm looking and I'm looking back dimensionally, and how many dimensions I'm in. I don't see anything else. That's all I see. So it's like I'm peering into what what I am walking through. I really believe that we're going through dimensional things since a lot of this stuff has happened over the last couple of years. And I think the Lord is going to be showing it to us. And so that's what I believe He's just showing me that it was okay. I took step one, and now He's going to show me how to take the rest of them.
That's so good.
I get this sense that this is part of a prophetic vision, that the realities that we're experiencing are His heart for us, not just a momentary thing, but what He wants to bring us into, this reality that, just like Sanette, the gold, the glory, that realm of dimension, that almost drunkenness of His love and His goodness, is a part of her reality, of her future, of what He's bringing her into. And some vision, some hope, some dreams, some restoration, and even our reality is to realize we're not paupers. We're really caught up in a heavenly romance. We're really caught up in we really do have royalty. We really do have we have something that God is changing about us, and changing our perspective of life and ourselves and Him. I just see some really, really good things coming for us. And I just feel like it's such a glimpse into another realm, a glimpse into a reality. Thank you, God.
This is so good.
I'm seeing night vision. You know how
Say
it
it.
looks? You know how it looks when you see night vision? Like the night vision goggles?
Oh, okay. Like almost green.
That's how it looks to me. I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think, I'm not sure, but I feel like
Mm.
that's something that's being given to us right now. That's something that's going to be part of our gifting, or what somebody else can probably say it better than me. But
The
anyway, I'm
seer
seeing
anointing.
night.
I'll take it.
But
Mm.
The seer anointing. I'll take it.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
if you have it, it's going to increase, or this could even be a whole new level. That's what I'm seeing.
Wow.
I just recently heard
I
John
can feel
Paul.
it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go.
Did you want me to go ahead? Because you're breaking up.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all
Thank
good.
you. So I was hearing John Paul Jackson talk about creating, and that has stuck with me for whatever, several weeks, several months. And when I'm looking through what I'm looking through, that could be what he's wanting me or us to step into. Because you know how we pray sometimes and we're praying over our family, and all of a sudden it just takes off, and he does through me when I pray. It's kind of like these meetings that we are in now, and he just takes me on the journey. I don't look for a scripture. I don't look for anything. I'm just opening my mouth, and he takes me on this journey and he shows me things. And so it's like, I believe he's getting ready for us to come out from where we have been, come into where he wants us to be, and he's going to take us there and going to help create, hope, image, life, love, joy, whatever it takes to help people break out so that they can also do what their purpose is. I hope this makes sense.
Thank
You're
you.
right on.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
Very good. So good.
Good. I was seeing the night vision goggles that Ann was talking about, and I got this reality that he was giving us this ability to look into the toughest place of our lives, the most painful areas, the darkest places into our lives, and he was giving us the ability to see him, to see his goodness, and to see his plan. And to their darkest, see what someone else can't see, and it's going to be like a hope. And I feel like this is really strongly is I feel like with these goggles we're going to look at our government in the United States and just what's going on in the world, and we're going to see it in a different way. We're going to see it with hope. We're going to see it as if God was in charge, and it's going to give a new perspective, a new reality to what's going on.
That's good.
So good.
Bucky, I have a question for you. Earlier, you said that you saw 4 quadrants. What was that? Was that just over
No,
the
I didn't see 4 quadrants. I said that's the way I described the chariot. I saw it was one of the 4 quadrants. So it was either the right front or the left rear quadrant of the chariot like thing.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
but so it wasn't like I almost got a picture like you were saying like okay, I saw 4 quadrants, and in one of the quadrants I saw the chariot.
No, it was just the one chariot, just a portion of the one chariot. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't.
Because
No, that's good.
what was coming to my mind, and I wasn't sure, I was thinking about the heart of the Father, and there being 4 chambers of the heart of the Father, and I wasn't sure if you were seeing that. It just
That's
came
good.
across my heart.
That's a That's interesting. Maybe that's what's there. I mean, that's not the way I was seeing it, but yeah, it's very possible that could be exactly right.
Yeah. I could see almost 4 different pictures, and what I was seeing was the chariot. Then I saw the picture of the clocks. Then I saw the dark cloud, and then I saw another one, and I'm just seeing it more clearly now. I'm seeing like a green pasture. I'm seeing a place where it just seems like a place of it's kind of the Psalms 23 thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like each chamber, each one of these is a chamber of God's heart,
Right.
and
That's beautiful.
and it's like that one of the chambers is that place where God is restoring our reality. We are the daughters and sons of God, and that He is for us, not against us, and that He's restoring our dreams and restoring. And then the other one was God was working on our timetable, and He was going back and restoring all the realities,
Right.
And each one just had just a different reality of His heart.
Wow. That's deep, man.
That's cool. That's cool. And Robert, as you were saying that was beautiful. I saw a box that was, all the way around, but it was split into and into. So there were 4 boxes, and there was a lightning bolt in there too. And it was, oh gosh, I wish I could remember the whole thing because I'm listening so intently that I'm forgetting what I'm seeing. But oh, I know what I saw in the top left one. As I'm looking out, the top left, whatever that is, that one started moving with a heartbeat and sound. So I don't know if we've opened all 4 of the quadrants yet. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yeah.
So the sound, I think, was maybe the bells that I heard ringing earlier. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Because remember we pulled the sashes or the scarves. So we might have tapped into it. We haven't seen it, but we did tap into it for sure. Wow.
So the 4 quadrants are the sound, right?
Mm.
Then what's next?
We had the sound, we had the rest or pastures.
Oh, okay.
I think. Am I
Yep.
right, Robert? Or Bucky? I'm not sure.
That's what I was seeing. I was seeing like green pastures, and I was thinking, about the Lord's, the Psalms 23. Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. He leads me in green pastures,
and then we had
that kind of.
Yeah. And then we had the chariot, the golden chariot.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the night vision.
And night, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's very interesting. And this is a little bit maybe out there, but I kind of
We all are.
yeah, I know. I kind of see this as a physical heart, not just, I see the whole heart structure with the veins and everything. And I kind of feel like I almost had a peek into one of the big, like the aorta vein or something, when I had that disorientation feeling kind of thing. It's almost like that is the place where you get almost launched into whatever. Not sure where that goes, but I don't know. That's just how I felt. Do you know what? The last time I felt like this, I was just reminded of a previous ascension a long, long time ago when we stepped into Melchizedek. I had this exact feeling of presence there, and we explored realms and creation and how to be co-creators. The whole ascension just popped into my mind, like almost like I did it yesterday. I
Wow.
can see everything we did then. And it's like we explored co-creation, we stepped into Melchizedek, we saw so many different realms at the same time. Wow, this is so amazing.
Yes, amen. Wow.
Whew.
This is so, so big. And talking about that, I think Robert said in the beginning, he's pressing into almost forcefully. This is forceful. This whole experience is extremely forceful.
I just sense um, this reality is when you said this experience is forceful. Um, I just sense a reality that it's his passion for us. It's his passion for us that seems. I mean, it's still gentle and loving, but it's a passion. And I heard the song the other day, and it so has impacted me to the point that I just sit there and just dwell on it a lot. But it was a song, and it says, I believe you love me. And then the next statement says, I believe you want me. And there's this reality that God is saying, I don't just want to use you. I don't want to just bring a calling in your life. I want to restore the reality that you know I want you. I desire you. There's a passion. It's a restoration of relationship that says, I have come to bring a heavenly romance back to your life. I've come to passionately show you I pursue you. I pursue you. I come after you. I in that scripture it says, surely the goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our life. It's the same reality of not just pursuing, but this I will hunt you down with my passion. I will hunt you down with my love, and I won't stop until I get you. You know, and I don't know, I just feel that same confirmation as you're saying. You feel the force. There's that there's that passion that he loves us and he is crazy about us.
I really sense a deep sense that God is just really working on identities right now. Who we really are in Him and what He really is for us, and His absolute surrender to us. He gives His everything, and we are with Him, we are in Him, we are a part of Him, we are part of each other. it is that sense of identity, but a partness of something so much bigger. I might have messed it up a little bit, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to get at. It's super individual, but super big. I don't know how to explain it more.
Has that reality like a place of intimacy, a place of like the secret place where he pulls us away to show us how much he loves us. You know, just like one of the chambers of the heart is just a place of deep intimacy and deep reality of such purity and such love, but at the same time such passion and such reality of goodness.
Now I saw the heart that I had seen earlier is 4 quadrants, because I don't know if this square that I saw around it was something that was drawn there and was kind of lit up around where the square is. But now I see that has become a heart, and the whole heart is not only throbbing, with all the whatever's going through there, whatever the picture would if we looked at it, all of that in it, there's singing coming out. You can tell the heart is beating, but there's singing, there's song, there's instruments. I can't tell what instruments. I've never heard them before, but it's like glowing, or I don't know, some kind of a glow around it. That probably doesn't sound right, but anyway, light is coming from it as it rests, and then it comes out. It rests, and then it beats, and the sound gets from quiet to louder.
Wow. That's so beautiful.
When you were talking, Linda, it almost made me feel like we were experiencing the Song of Solomon moment. Like, those words were between the lover and the beloved, and that reality, that interchange, that engagement between each one. I just sense that, like, the music and the passion and the romance and his courting us, and it's just amazing. It's right, we're just experiencing this reality of God that just seems so much like the Song of Solomon right now.
Amen. But the waves of it now is traveling outward. Kind of looks like a piece of fabric, but it looks like blood at the same time, and it's traveling out. So it's like making life as it goes out. Does that make sense? It's sending out this message, like a megaphone would or whatever, but it's throbbing and throbbing and throbbing and growing, and it looks like a blood or a piece of see-through cloth, that just is reverberating. I'm not doing too good a job, but I hope y'all get it.
It's so beautiful.
I get that feeling as you're talking about that it's going outwards. I get twofold of meaning for that. I feel like the one is there is this reality that he is pouring out his love, not just on us, but others. But then also I get this sense that he's saying, I'm not ashamed of you. I want people to know. I want people to see how much I love you. Just as Sinette experienced the gold that was all over her, it's like a sign of his glory, and God does it, God has no problem pouring out his glory in such a way that people can see his glory on his people, especially when you step in a place of such intimacy and love that he values this relationship so much that he wants to, it's like he's in love and he wants to tell the world that he's in love.
Mm-hmm.
It's lavish.
So
Yes, yes, that's a good word.
Mm. As you said that, God just wants to show the whole world.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Sorry, as you said that God just wanted to show the whole world that he loves you and his love for you, and he wants to pour his glory over you. It was like such a contrast of what happens in the earth, what the enemy is doing. He wants to hide everything he does. He wants to cover it up. And God just wants to show everything he does. Let the whole world see it. And that is so, so precious. I really, really enjoy that.
Amen. This is a little bit different, but all of a sudden, as we're just talking these last couple of seconds here, I saw a picture of people up there, but all I just really saw was spaces. But I knew they were the whole thing there, but they were just all over. I don't know if that's people that are in the spirit right now, or people that he has transformed or brought out of whatever darkness or issues they were having, because God really wants so much for us to move forward. And I am crying out for that, Lord. I just want to move up and forward into you, no matter what this happened this week, this, whatever, that. And I just want to move. And he hears those cries to us in that we're crying. And I believe he really wants those to happen. That's passion.
It's so beautiful.
I'm just hearing that when you saw the other faces, I felt like God was saying, these are the people that realize that they're the beloved. They've caught a glimpse and they've accepted it and they surrendered to this reality that they're the beloved. And I was almost feeling like God was just saying, this is the place of the beloved. This is the place of the beloved. And that we get to, I think he wants us to realize that we are his beloved.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Father.
So here's another twist to this. So as he's talking about, he wants to reveal us. It's like I see this. It's not really a bandstand, but it's just for lack of better terms. That's what I'll call it. It's just a I don't know. It's a higher plane than the dance floor, right? It's like we're in this ballroom, and anyway, he calls us up on this place, and we're all standing against the wall because it's a narrow little walkway there. And I don't know who he is, but he is this. I see this dark-headed gentleman, and he's like the master of ceremonies maybe, and he's like calling the room to attention, and he's laughing, and everybody in the room, there's just this joyful laughter in the room kind of thing. And anyway, he's calling their attention to look up to him, and he's kind of going through the process of explaining to them that the Father wants to bring honor to us tonight, and I say us as a group, and we're he's about to tell why he wants to share us with the group. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to say that. But he wants to reveal us to the room. It's like he wants to share our exploits, in the right word. It's not really accolades. It's just who we are. He just wants to share who we are with the group. With the ones at the dance.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I love that.
That is
Love
so
that.
good. Mm.
I guess it's almost like it's like the opposite of a roast. I mean, it's kind of like a roast in the fact that, they're it's fun loving and that sort of sense, but it's not in roasting like, roasting, they're pretty brutal sometimes, but it's not. It's like gentle and loving, and, just really just lifting us up before the, speaking of the good things that we've accomplished and done in our lives to get to this point.
Yeah, I see it as like being in the living room here, or your living room, or whatever, and we're all in the same living room, and it's happening that way versus how it would happen down here. In heaven, it's would be a bit different than down here. I see us as joyful and happy, and just like, this is great, this is a wonderful time and place to be, and thank you, Lord. So we're all excited, both us and the people that God is telling this to. That's the way I see it.
I just love that about the roast thing, where it's the opposite of that. That just seems so much, hope and life and fun also too. I just sense the absolute, um, delight, the bliss that's happening. But I also get a sense too, like he's a proud father that wants to show us off, that he just really wants to show us off. And then I kind of was wondering, like, who's the audience that we're looking, and I always get a sense of a council, like, even though that this is a dance and this is a place of thing, but there's a council, there's a group that are there, and it's like he's showing us off as a group to this council, and it's very honoring.
Or maybe the first time that I've really thought about it this way. I am not shy. I'm not disturbed. I'm not blushing, that type of thing, as I would here in the natural normally. Like, I don't want a microphone, blah, blah, blah. And it seems like I can see now the difference in what God wants me to be. And he's made me to be, to not be shy, not blush and all that kind of stuff. when he's, because I'm in him and he's in me, and we're not competing, that kind of thing or anything. There's none of that up there. It's just absolutely perfect and beautiful. And it's probably been that way all along when we do these engaging, but I just now really saw it clearly tonight.
So good. I just feel that there's so much freedom and grace in this place. It's that we are, even though we just here, but we are exploring so many different areas of who we are and sorting out little things that needs to be sorted out in our lives. Just spending this time here. And this is just to bring us back to that chariot that we probably all in, even if you haven't physically stepped into it or just thought of stepping into it. I think we're all in this chariot and we are just moving through things slowly, but we are moving into a direction. We are on our way to the ball kind of thing. That's the sense I get. It's not like, yeah, we're going to arrive at the ball tonight, or it's going to be that and then it's the end of the ascension. But this is a journey we're going to be on for quite a while. It's almost like I can feel it's, like I said, this is the first step on a journey. And there's so many dimensions of this journey. It is an identity journey. It is a journey where you're going to learn to co-create. It's a journey where you're going to meet with the Father and find his heart. It is a journey that you can explore the Son's love for you, how much love he had to have to go to the cross for you. Things like that. It's there's so many aspects of this. These are just a few that I can quickly pick up as I'm going on the journey. I don't know how you feel about that. That's just a little bit of what I feel.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Since you said that, I was about to share, and then you shared that, and it just really played into what I was kind of thinking. But in the past several months, I've been, if I can use the word narrative, I've been seeing this narrative of the story of the Son being Elohim and being with the Father and with the Son before the foundations were laid, and watching that process and going through that process and thinking this narrative that I've made up in my thinking, in my realm, says something along the effect that one day Yeshua comes to us and he says, hey, I have something for you I want you to do for me, and here it is. I want you to go and I want you to enter into this woman's womb, and she's going to be your mother, and this is who your dad's going to be, and you're going to have these sisters, and you're going to, this is going to be your life, and here's what you're going to do. It's the panoramic of all things, when you start to see it, and as he just folds out your life before you, he said, but the thing is, once you enter into your mom's womb, and you're birthed into the earthly realm, you've got to find your way back here. That's the whole point, that you have to search for me until you find me, and so that I can bring you back here so that we can go on to, the other things, the next things in the journey. And that's kind of going off in the chariot is exactly what I saw, was that's what he's telling the crowd as he's talking over us. This is Sinette. She was called to step in at this place with these parents and do these things, and there's Robert, and there's Jill, and there's Diane, and there's Norman and Peter, and and we've all, and Ann, and we've, and Linda, and we've all been called to do these certain things, and at certain time we all came together as one new man and entered into this place with him, and just, man, it's just really, really encouraging to see this. I mean, it's like wow.
Wow. That is
Guess
so
what I
good.
said? Guess what I said today, Bucky? And I've never said it before till today.
What
I
does
said to some, I'm gonna spare you the whole dialogue, but I'll just give you the punchline. I said, it's as if I stepped into this world. I used the word stepped in. And that's the word you just used.
Wow.
Really? I didn't know that.
Wow.
Ann always gets it beforehand, and then it confirms what we get in the meeting.
That's so cool. Wow.
I just love you guys.
Mhm.
Love you, Linda.
Thank you.
How are you going, Diane?
I'm okay.
That's good. Mm. Are you following with us?
I'm trying.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Mm. Okay.
Another part of this narrative thing is too that we've never really been told the truth. We've had to hunt for it and search it out. We've had to, it's to the honor of the king to search out a matter, and it's at some point it was revealed to us that we were lost, and well, then we found our way to this one we call Yeshua, and he begins to show us this pathway. And the further we go down the pathway, you begin to question, whether, man, I've been taught this and that and this and that, and some things work, some things don't work, some things work for a moment, and some things, then you go to do them again a second time and they don't work. What's, and you have to figure all that kind of stuff out. It's this whole story of the dance, of the, wow. It's just like all of a sudden I just see this whole scrambling for life, searching for the you know, your existence, searching for, you know, the duality of man to you know, apprehend the one thing, you know, that matters the most. And it's like, it's all just a dance, you know, it's all just and everyone you come in contact with, you know, it's like you're dancing along, and all of a sudden you let go of that partner and you step up to another partner, and it's not like it's man and woman dancing, and it's like spirit to spirit, you know, and you're just waltzing across this dance floor of what we call life in the spirit. And oh man, it's like, wow. You start to see all the, you know, you're hearing all the instruments that are playing in the background, and all the you know, your sphere of influence is in this, and you know, even beyond that sphere of influence, the people that you've known and met and interact with on a daily basis, whether you know or not, you know, and you start taking in this whole, you know, it just begins to flow with this rhythm, this steady rhythm, and you know, there's crashes and there's turns and there's whirling and there's laughter and there's joy and there's sadness and there's kindness and goodness and hatred and every emotion that known to man in this whole picture, you know. It's just wow. It's almost overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. It is so beautiful.
As I was listening to you, Bucky, I get this thing. I feel like I'm being reminded that I came to know the Lord when I was 17, and I'm 50 now. So, I mean, it's 33 years, but in 33 years, like, what is the ultimate thing I'm learning? And one of the things is that I'm starting to hear a sound. I'm starting to hear a sound, and it sounds like a music sound, a tune, a rhythm, just like you were talking about, like a rhythm. And it feels like God is just more and more saying, come step into the dance, come step into the dance, come, you know. And it's like, for years I couldn't hear it, but the more and more I get tuned to it, especially with the ascensions, I become more and more in tune with it, where I realize there is this dance, and that I'm choosing to step into this dance, and it's really a dance of a pattern that's different in the world, but it's also a pattern that says, you know, it's something inside me that agrees that I really am loved, that I really am important, I really am valuable, and it's so breaking off the pattern of my DNA and where I had come from and my past, my traumas. I'm stepping into this dance and this rhythm that's really, I don't know, it's just something inside of me that's just agreeing and saying, I'm finally starting to really trust you, God. I'm really starting to relax and enjoy who you are.
That is so good. I think that you can almost take that as a part of explaining rest, because rest to me is part of trust and just being able to totally give everything over to God, everything you are, everything you think, just everything. That is how I see rest. I know we spoke a bit earlier that, and she couldn't get rest until recently, and yeah, that's, I know so many people see rest as lying down and sleeping or doing nothing, but it's not doing nothing. It's almost like, you can almost say it's a trust, is a giving everything over. It's almost like a surrender. Not sure what other words I can use, but yeah, that's a bit more how I see rest. And what you explained, Robert, that was kind of a very good explanation of part of rest.
It's good. It's a perfect way to explain it. That surrender. That surrender. It just, I don't know, that's just good. That's really good.
Yeah. Because being part of that dance that you're talking about is almost like losing yourself into God, into the being, the beautiful dance with God, the Son, Holy Spirit. They all have this uniqueness about them, but they flow so well together. And you are part of it, and you are entangled into that. And the more you surrender, the more you get part of it, the more you become part of it, and the easier it flows. And it just becomes this harmonious, beautiful twirling. I can't, it's impossible to describe what I experience when I'm there. It is so beautiful.
I find myself too in life situations where people are going, oh, God's doing this, and this is the new move of God. This is everything. And I'm just lost in this dance. And I'm just following the dance. And it doesn't always go with the flow of what everybody else is saying that God's doing, or when people are, fearful and fretting over something, I'm just caught in the dance. And I'm just, and it's like sometimes I feel crazy because I'm like, maybe I should be more concerned, or something. But it's like God is saying, no, dance with me, and it's sometimes I'm right now in the middle of everybody, and then sometimes I'm off alone with God, just dancing in this situation. But either way, I'm always with God, and
That's
it's just good.
That is so good. And that is where we find our rest and our peace. Just beautiful, peaceful rest. And it's so warm and so reassuring that we can just know that we know it's all in God's hands, and we are all in God's hands. It is, and He's got it. I am so not worried about any of this junk that's going on at the moment, because I know He's got it. And the more, and every time when I get a little bit concerned, or I hear people around me and I get, you get like, oh, like Robert said, oh, maybe I should be a bit worried. I said, no, I just give it back to God. It's not mine to worry about. I just give it to Him. And that is absolute surrender, absolute rest. And I think we explored rest so abundantly tonight. I really enjoyed our journey together tonight. And this last few moments of our ascension, I want to just ask if there's anything that you feel you really need to share with our group, or if there's something you want to add. Please do so before we end our ascension.
I did have an important thing for me. It's not really what the ascension's about. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I had been thinking about and praying about this one specific thing, and I would let it go, and then, you know, it would come to me again, and I felt it was like him telling me how to pray about it. And still, I was not hearing a response. I don't know if I should have been looking for a response or hearing one or what, but then he said to me, and I saw him at kind of like a distance, but I saw him clearly, but not, you know, he was kind of small, so I couldn't see what exactly was going on. But he looked at me while he was looking at something, maybe reading or writing or something. He looked at me and he says, yeah, I want you to do this. And he told me what it was. It was just a few brief words. I don't want to share that. But he just said that, I want you to do this. And he gave me a time, and it was like 3 days. And from then on, I've been able, not through my will, not through my abilities, not through even anything but my agreeing and wanting to obey that. I just agreed and said yes, and it has happened.
That's so beautiful.
It's amazing when you've been wanting to hear him or wanting to see him about a specific thing. I see him about many things, but just not my specific things a lot of times. I get his encouragement to do so, but I don't hear words. So I just want to thank the Lord for it.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you. I just want to ask Jill to just pray us out and seal our ascension, if that's okay with you, Jill.
Sure. Oh my goodness. So Father, we thank you for this time we had with you and all of us together, seeking you and your heart for really all of your creation, Father. Lord, I thank you for the realms that were almost unlocked in us, like a realms within realms almost, that we could go deeper into and understand, have a deeper understanding of how you see us and all of your creation, Father. And I just don't want to leave this feeling that I have. It's a beautiful, beautiful presence of you, Father. So I'm taking it with me. And so I seal this ascension with the blood of Jesus. I say amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jill.